Her eye caught a faint glow coming from a locker. Curious, she found the key and opened it to reveal a glowing amulet. As she held it, a strange warmth spread through her, and she slipped it into her pocket. Something else caught her attention, a dusty diary. Opening it, she saw her mother's handwriting and began to read. Her heart sank as she uncovered the truth. Her father had sacrificed her mother to the court for wealth and power. Overwhelmed with grief and betrayal, Annabel clung to the diary and ran to confront her father. But as she reached his door, she overheard him speaking on the phone with Mr. Donald. Michelle will be the next sacrifice, Mr. Scott said coldly. She is a threat. In the heart of the lavish district, where mansions gleam under the sun and luxury aboded, stood Bright Future Academy, an elite prestigious institution reserved for the rich and powerful. It was here that Annabel Scott ruled the hallways with an iron fist. Her status as the minister's daughter, both a privilege and a weapon. Annabel Scott was the kind of girl everyone feared at Bright Future Academy. Tall, beautiful, and spoiled by a wealthy father, Mr. Alexander Scott. Annabel had made herself the most feared student in the school. She thrived on power over her classmates, power over her teachers, and power over the school itself. Her father owned the school, and everyone knew it. Annabel's sharp tongue and cruel prank had driven many students to tears, but no one dare report her. After all, Mr. Scott was not just a wealthy man. He was a respected minister with connections in high places. Annabel lived a life without consequences, always knowing her father would shield her from trouble. But Annabel's power had limits. J.C. Donald, the handsome, kind-hearted son of the state governor, was immune to her charms. He was intelligent, confident, and well-loved by everyone at the academy. Annabel had a massive crush on J.C., but her jealousy burned when she saw him talking to Michelle Okafor, a scholarship student. Michelle was the complete opposite of Annabel. She was quiet yet brave, intelligent yet humble. Coming from a poor background, Michelle had earned a place at Bright Future Academy through her brilliance. She had a kind heart, always standing up for what was right, even if it meant clashing with Annabel. The rivalry between Annabel and Michelle grew over time. Annabel hated that Michelle could have shined her academically, and that J.C. seemed drawn to Michelle's kindness. Little did anyone know, the tension between these three would soon intertwine with secrets far darker than teenage jealousy. Behind Mr. Scott's polished image as a minister and school owner lurked a horrifying truth. For years, he had been part of an ancient cult that demanded human lives for sacrifice. 2 girls every 3 months in exchange for wealth and influence. He used his school as a hunting ground, carefully selecting his victims from among the students. To maintain his reputation, Mr. Scott worked with his best friend Mr. Donald, J.C.'s father, who was also a member of the cult. Together they ensured their dark deals were concealed. Annabel knew nothing of her father's sinister activity. She idolized him, believing he was a selfless man who worked hard for her happiness. Her world revolved around him, especially since her mother had died under mysterious circumstances when she was just 9 years old. But Mr. Scott's perfect image began to crumble when 2 of Michelle's best friends, Hannah and Nancy, went missing. Michelle was devastated and suspicious, convinced that something was wrong. Her determination to find out what happened would soon put her in grave danger. One afternoon, J.C. and Michelle stumbled under a hidden room while exploring the old library. J.C. noticed a faint draft coming from behind a bookshelf, and together they pushed it aside to reveal a secret door. Inside the room was cold and dark, filled with strange symbols, candles, and a table stained with what looked like dried blood. Michelle's breath caught in her throat as her eyes landed on a handkerchief embroidered with her name. Horror struck her. How had it gotten there? J.C., equally shocked, pulled her back, whispering, "We need to leave now." As they slipped out, Mr. Scott entered the library. Though they managed to escape unseen, He later discovered the handkerchief and realized that Michelle had uncovered his secret. He knew he had to act fast. The next morning, Mr. Scott called Annabel to his study. "Annabel," he began, his voice calm and firm. "There is a girl in your school, Michelle, spreading false rumors about me. She is trying to destroy our family name." Annabel's blood boiled at the mention of Michelle. "What do you want me to do, Dad?" "I need you to teach her a lesson. Take your friends, Jessica and Elizabeth, and confront her. Make sure she understands the consequences of her actions." Annabel, blinded by jealousy and anger, agreed. She hated Michelle for outshining her in academic, for gaining Jesse's attention, and now for daring to slander her father. She planned the ambush for after school, waiting for Michelle in a secured corner with Jessica and Elizabeth. When Michelle appeared, Annabel stepped forward, sneering. "So, you think you can spread lies about my dad?" Michelle didn't back down. "I'm not spreading lies, Annabel. I know the truth." Before Annabel could respond, JC arrived. "Leave her alone, Annabel," he shouted, stepping between the girls. Furious, Annabel stormed off. But her father's lie had planted a seed of doubt in her mind. Later that night, Annabel wandered into her father's study. Her eye caught a faint glow coming from a locker. Curious, she found the key and opened it to reveal a glowing amulet. As she held it, a strange warmth spread through her, and she slipped it into her pocket. Something else caught her attention, a dusty diary. Opening it, she saw her mother's handwriting and began to read. Her heart sank as she uncovered the truth. Her father had sacrificed her mother to the court for wealth and power. Overwhelmed with grief and betrayal, Annabel clung to the diary and ran to confront her father. But as she reached his door, she overheard him speaking on the phone with Mr. Donald. "Michelle will be the next sacrifice," Mr. Scott said coldly. "She is a threat." Annabel busted into the room. "Enough, Dad," she screamed. "I know everything." Her father's face darkened. "You foolish girl," he is. "After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me?" "You killed Mom," Annabel sobbed. "You have been lying to me my whole life, and if you hurt Michelle, I will expose you to the world." Enraged, Mrs. Scott dragged Annabel to her room and locked her inside. Terrified for Michelle, Annabel called JC and confessed everything. "You have to save her," she pleaded. JC, Michelle, and their friends Jessica and Elizabeth rushed to the Scott mansion to free Annabel. Breaking down her door, they tried to escape together, but Mr. Scott and his court members arrived, blocking their paths. "You won't leave here alive," Mr. Scott sneered, advancing with the hooded figures. Annabel felt the amulet in her pocket and pulled it out. A glow intensifying power surged through her as she raised it, creating a protective barrier around her friends. With the amulet magic, she fought back, forcing the court members to retreat. JC joined her, standing by her side as they faced their fathers. "You have lost," JC said, firmly staring down his father. With the court exposed, the authority arrested Mr. Scott, Mr. Donald, and the remaining court members. Bright Future Academy was left in shock, but Annabel was determined to make amends. She apologized to Michelle and the other students she had bullied, working hard to rebuild trust. Michelle forgave her, and the two became close friends. Together with JC, Jessica, and Elizabeth, they formed a bond that couldn't be broken. Annabel's transformation inspired the entire school. No longer the queen bee of purity, she became a symbol of redemption and strength, proving that even the darkest past could lead to a brighter future.